Welcome and good morning, guys. It is Tuesday, October 15th, and just going to check out the markets in the morning. Going to start off the usual. I see some requests already in the chat there with, of course, Tesla, MicroStrategy, HIMS, SOFI, all that stuff. We'll get to it, and just going to start off with the SPY. There's really no change from yesterday. When we look at this fib, it is breaking above the 1.618, and it looks like it wants to go higher and higher. But when we switch it to log based, it's at resistance. So we just got to be careful here to see how price reacts for the rest of the week around 585.38. So that's what I'm looking at mostly, just to see if this is going to break through the log scale fib or not. But linear scale, I think, is a little bit more accurate. So we'll focus on the trend. The trend is still up towards the 600s and beyond. And also QQQ, same situation. It's going up towards the linear scale resistance of 504. Log scale, it's already at that resistance at 497. So just got to be a little bit cautious, I think, since things are at resistance right here, but they do have potential to break through since there's more room to run on the linear scale fib right there. And IWM looking better and better as well with the linear based fib. We can see that 219.80 held great as support last week, and it opened up this week as well. So this is what I like to see. More weekly candles just close on top of 219.80 for the continuation higher. And eventually, when it gets past the 786, which it really has never done since the downtrend started, that would be my cue for lots of things to start going much higher. So 226.75 is really the confirmation needed for small caps, for maybe growth stocks, for maybe even the rest of altcoins and crypto really to start going. So 226.75, and then I think things will start to improve pretty rapidly. So might take some time to get there, but one step at a time, it is getting closer and closer to breaking that level. And yeah, we'll go straight into some of the requests here. Start off with Tesla, just because that is the trend of my morning. And Tesla, how does that look? Well, it is below that 382 again, right? So that's 2 days in a row that is going to be below that 382 level. 221.26 is that level. But as I mentioned before, the Ichimoku is our friend here, and we'll just turn that on. And it is now riding on top of that cloud. So either way, this is support, right? And then when we put on some moving averages and stuff underneath it, there's even more support underneath it too. So it's not the end of the world if price did drop, but it would probably freak a lot of people out. But the best case scenario is doing what it's doing, just maintaining on top of the cloud. Maybe it won't break above the 382 this week. Maybe 221.26 might get stuck, but that is going to be the target to close above. But at a minimum, I'd love to see it just hold above the cloud. Next week, do the same thing. Then that would just build a base on a higher level. And you can just see from the bottom here, it did the same thing, right? It broke out, built a base, went higher, back tested, went higher, building a base now to go higher. So it's just doing the same thing from the bottom. And this is not a bearish scenario. So far, so good. And we'll just see how today develops. And well, the target is closing days above 219 every day. That's the target. And I see a request for ASTS. I have it already pulled up here. So I have my GAN pulled up, and it did hit a resistance level there. But the most important thing, I think, with ASTS is reviewing this fib right here. And it can't get back above this previous all-time high, and that's 25.37 for ASTS. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is maybe getting above that 25.37. If it can do it, then it'll go higher. But if not, it'll probably consolidate lower and maybe go drift towards this angle here to see. So it's kind of at a resistance for me right now. And 24.64, it is a little bit down pre-market. So we'll see. 25.37, it's got to close above that on weekly basis in order to get more bullish with that. I see Unity. I have a line drawn here, and this is all I need, right? I don't really need anything else. So this is a previous really, really strong support. Now it's a resistance. So when we do put on the Ichimoku, we can see that it is getting more and more bullish. So it has opportunity to go up to 24, 25 bucks. But will it have much more strength after that? I'm not sure. So I think what we're seeing is a breakout of the baseline, maybe even a back test right there. But I think price should gravitate towards the 25 bucks and see how price reacts once it gets there, because this is a very important level to see if it can actually flip it back to a support. If it can, great. If not, then it's going to have to retest levels lower on. Can I speak Chinese? No. You. Yeah, maybe if I have time. But MicroStrategy, we'll pull up this one. So MicroStrategy, where is resistance? It's going to be 245. And this is looking better and better for continuation. I love it. Why do I love it? Well, I told my Patreon people yesterday on the update that the linear scale fib 204.57 should be support now. And sure enough, pre-market, it's looking like it's a support. So I personally bought some more yesterday around market close, and I think price can build a base on top of this 204.57 and go higher. So that's my understanding of it. I think it does have a great potential to go towards 300 rather quickly. So I think right now, as long as 204 holds on a weekly basis, it will go higher. Okay. HIMS, how's that doing pre-market? Haven't even checked. Okay, yeah, it's down like 5 cents. So this is what I'm looking at for HIMS right here. It's the 786. I gotta get a weekly candle close above it, because since the top we have not really seen it, right? We haven't seen a candle close above it. So 2055 is going to be the target. But on log scale, guess what happened? It held 1969 perfectly yesterday. It even went to 1970 yesterday. So what is this called? It's called a breakout and gapping up above a fib level, and it wants to go higher. So it's just got to break that 2055, and I think it's going to go towards the all-time highs. But HIMS is looking better and better. SOFI is at my resistance, right? It is even gapping up a little bit this morning, but what's right there? That is the 200-week moving average. So I'm very cautious at that 1020 level. So it did make a monster move from this angle all the way up to the arc really, really quickly. And basically that is now your resistance almost exactly. So sure, during the week it can go up, but we got to see where it closes. If it closes above, then that's going to be super bullish for the future. But if it closes on Friday below everything, then that could come back and retest levels into the 930s or below. So just got to watch this 1020, and right now this is resistance. Okay, yeah, SUI. I do have a better SUI chart. I forget which one I used here. So SUI is right at an important level, and that's the previous high, right? The previous all-time high and back in March. It broke out last week above, and now it's back testing. So the week's not over yet, and it is wicking through it currently. So on Sunday, if things continue to close back above my angle here, back above the 217.9, then this can drift higher and higher to the 331.272 up top. So I'm really focused on closing this week above 217.9 just to stay on top and build a base on top of this new all-time high zone to go higher. Okay, lots of requests here. Neo. So Neo, you can just see how perfect the GAN level worked. I showed this before, how it got rejected right at that level. And sure enough, it went straight back down to the bottom of the cloud. So now pre-market, it's even testing the 50-week moving average right there, which is at 558. Pre-market's 559. So to me, what this looks like is a perfect breakout, got rejected, and a back test. That's what it's looking like right now. And I think it has a really good chance right now at current level, like pre-market, a good chance of holding. So if that does hold, then we could probably see a rebound back closer in the cloud and maybe even back up to the 660. So people that are looking for opportunities, sometimes they just stare at you in the face during pre-market. And yeah, CLSK. So CLSK is gapping, not really gapping, just going up, like it's up 20 cents. So the 200-week moving average is at 1079 and it's at 11 pre-market. So this is a good indication that things want to continue. And I think the possibility to even get back to the 618, the 1256 is there. So we'll see how this week closes, but 1079 is going to be the target to close above. If it does close above it, then I think price can eventually go a lot higher. So it's looking better and better. Support definitely held with my angle here that I've shown you the whole time. And so basically just got to carry on with that momentum. And I think it can move a couple dollars fairly quickly. So we'll just keep an eye on that 1079. Yeah, BTBT, this one is going up a little bit pre-market. It's in the cloud. It's in between my two little arcs here. So that is basically in the middle of a range. So I think price can gravitate towards the top of that range, maybe around 355. But I'm not going to get bullish, super bullish on this until I can flip back to support the top of the cloud. So that's going to be the target for this BTBT, but it is a bullish chart because it's above a lot of things. The conversion baseline 50, 100, it's above a lot of things, but to get more bullish, it needs to start closing candles basically above 355. Let's see, Wolf, WOLF, Wolf Speed. So this is not my favorite kind of chart to chart or to trade, I should say. Is it possible to go higher? Oh yeah, it sure is, right? And I think Tesla Tracker kind of nailed the bottom perfectly on this one. But now I think it does have potential to maybe get back to the 15s up here, right? Maybe even higher. Maybe even, sorry, it's in the 15s pre-market. Maybe even the 19s, where this baseline sits right here, which is around 1909. So since it is gapping up quite a bit pre-market, the possibility to get to $19 is there. And I think that could be some resistance in the future. But this is a great gap up. And we can see what really happened. It all started with this big 21% candle above the conversion line, and then it back tested it already. So that was kind of enough to send it higher. So I think this is looking really, really good for continuation, but not sure if it's going to have much more than 19 or even maybe 25 above, because this market structure is still bearish with a lot of lower lows and lower highs. So it has potential to go still, but I'm always cautious with these stocks that keep making lower lows. Yeah, nice bump there on Tesla. Is it? Nice bump on Tesla? Yeah, a little bit. So what else we got here? Thank you for the morning. ASPN. Yeah, okay. ASPN. So I do have the GAN in here for ASPN, and it's just in between the arcs. So it's not doing anything except for consolidating. And what price is doing is still on top of this 200-week moving average. So 2063 is really the level to hold. And all I'm looking at is like a breakout above the 200, a back test, and maybe another back test. So is this looking more and more bullish? Yes, but it's never touched the cloud yet since it broke out. So it could just take some time, more time going sideways, maybe a few more weeks before it really wants to go higher. But it looks like it does want to go higher, mainly because it's holding above these averages and it's within the arcs. It's just consolidating, and it might spend more time in that consolidation until it goes higher. Yeah, Wolf. Yeah, I already looked at Wolf and Palantir. Yes, but first, let's do Shop. So Shop, I've been telling my Patreon people that 618 has basically looked like it's flipping back to a support. So this is quite amazing, especially it's back above the 200-week moving average. So as long as 81, 82 holds, I think it's going to the 90s and the 100s above. So this Shopify looks really, really good for the future. And this breakout was pretty massive. And now we're looking at price building a base at a higher level, which is a very, very positive development for continuation. And yeah, CRWD, CrowdStrike. The market is open now, so we'll just do a couple more here. So CrowdStrike, super bullish, right? I cannot be more bullish on CrowdStrike. And yesterday, people were like, oh no, it's going down. But I'm like, yeah, it's going down to retest support because it just broke out. It broke out of the cloud. It broke out above the baseline. It broke out above my arc here. And it's just back testing right now. So let it go back down to 303, maybe even a little bit lower down to 298, 299. Who cares? This is the definition of like support held perfectly, and it's breaking out, and it back tested, and now it's breaking out again. So this is the process that's needed in order for price to get back to the 350s and the 400s above. So look super, super, super bullish now. And I think as long as this arc holds as a support, build a base on top of it and the cloud, it's going to go higher. So who cares about this dip this week? This is the opportunity for the people that missed all of this right here. And yeah, so one more, I'll do Palantir, PLTR. So nothing has changed for Palantir at all. It 45 is resistance. I've already been telling you guys that, and it's breaking above the arc, so it has potential to even go back down to the 40s to retest it. But does it have potential to go lower? Sure. I'm not sure if it will though, because this is an important arc, and if it maintains on top of it, it could just build a base and then just launch above this 45. So if people are really expecting the 30s again, maybe they will come, maybe not. But I think now that price is above most of the fib retrace levels, it's just going to go higher and higher over time. So it's probably going to spend maybe some time consolidating, but the trend is your friend, and I think it's going to go higher to the 127 or 1.272 fib, the 78, and higher above. So yeah, I think I got through a lot of those. But we'll just do the market open real quick. So yeah, everything's kind of flat. IDBM's down a little bit. Palantir, yeah. So how are things really looking? Tesla, wow, it's up to 223. Let's see if that momentum can hold. NVIDIA, still it's kind of flat. It's trying to break its 140 resistance level. And yeah, lots of things are just kind of flat here this morning. Even miners are kind of flat. But I think the miners are looking ready to go much higher, in my opinion. So they might take some time to break their resistance levels, like CLSK, like I was mentioning, the 200-week. Like it's really in the process of doing that right now, and a lot of other ones are doing that as well. So it's just got to break resistance, and then things will go. And Bitcoin, in my opinion, I think I'll just end on Bitcoin, that it looks really, really good, Bitcoin. And let me just go to this chart here. This is why, right? This is the main reason for Bitcoin, in my opinion. It's just breaking my arc, and this is a 2-day chart. It's just breaking the arc, and it's tried many times. It's tried here, but then immediately there was a bearish engulfing after this time. So if we do not see a bearish engulfing candle this week, then in my opinion, it's going to build a base on top of this arc again, and it's going to go to 69,000. And then once that 69,000 breaks, it's going to go much higher. So this is looking more and more likely that Bitcoin is going to break out. And it's more and more likely that the miners are going to break out too, the Bitcoin miners. And this is looking better and better for everything, but just got to be cautious with some of those indices there, the QQQ, the SPY. They are looking a little bit at resistance on log scale. So take it one step at a time, but the market is becoming more and more bullish for everything. And I think that's all for today. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.